Hi, this is Jay from Lo Shu Numerology.com, and today we're going to be doing a reading for Robert. And Robert, I have your birthday digits here, and I have mixed them up for your protection. And we're going to move all of these digits down here into this Lo Shu square. The ones always go down here, 5's in the center, 4 in this upper corner, 9, 6, and one more 4. Now that we have all of these digits here into the magic square, we're going to be looking for patterns. These patterns are rows, columns, or diagonals where all of those locations are filled with numbers or don't have any numbers at all. So the first thing we're going to be looking for are the rows. And the first row that I'm looking at there has a mix of some and none, so it doesn't get an arrow. In fact, none of these get arrows because they've got some and none for all of them. So we're going to look at columns now. Columns, the first one, no arrow there. The second one, though, we've got something in each one of these locations, so it gets a solid arrow. And the last column doesn't get anything. Diagonals, though, I can see one right here. There's a number in each one of these locations, so it gets a solid arrow. But this one is a mix of some and none, doesn't get one at all. The last thing we do in this section of the reading is find all of the locations in the Lo Shu Magic Square where there's more than one digit in a location. We've only got one of those. Those are the 4s right there. So we've got the arrows, we've got the number. Next thing to do is I'm going to grab these cards here, the Lo Shu deck. I'm going to run through here, grab out the cards we need for this reading, Robert, and I'll be right back with that. We're back and ready to get on with this reading. First thing we're going to be looking at is this column right here in the center, and this is the will or passion column. Do you move with intention, or do you just kind of drift along? And that's a solid arrow, which means it's going to be a plus, which means you move with intention. You've got a lot of passion, a lot of will in your life. It's related to willpower, but it's a little bit different. But this tells me that when there's something that you decide to do, it gets done. And you might not be the kind of person, kind of frothing at the mouth, kind of passionate about it. For you, it's probably more of an internal calmness that you're just going to do this, you're going to get it done. The one thing about this is when you're working on something really intently, you might unintentionally be blocking other people out. So that's something to just keep an eye on. The next is this diagonal arrow, and that is the arrow for spirituality. Are you a person that is more spiritual, or are you more skeptical? And the plus says that you are more of a spiritual person. For you, I get the feeling that this might not be something that earlier in your life, you may have not thought that you were a spiritual person at all, but later in life, you've come to realize that you have something inside of you. You have a serenity inside of you that no matter what is going on around you, if there's chaos going on around you, whatever the external situation is like, you know that things are going to be okay. Things are going to turn out well. And if you take a look back at the will, the plus will and the plus spirituality, these work together really well. This shows a person with an internal force, an internal drive to do things and to do things well. And finally, we're going to be looking at the numbers. This is the 4, and 4 means security or stability. This tells me that you're a person who values truth, and that goes along with this spirituality too. It's really interesting. These two go well together, and these two cards go well together. You value the truth. That means that you speak plainly to others. You don't sugarcoat things. You don't beat around the bush. You're just plain. You're frank. Just like most things, there can be a downside to that. Sometimes you might find that your honesty gets you in trouble when people get offended. But it's not coming from a place of meanness. It's just coming from a place of honesty. And that honesty, that stability, even if somebody gets offended, it still draws people to you. So looking back at all of these, I really like the way these two work together and these two work together, which means that as a whole, this is just a really solid group here. There's your reading, Robert. I hope it gives you something to think about.